What's up, everybody? We're back.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome back to a Metalhead's Journey. Hey, so you may notice one thing. First of all, I'm doing the intro, so that's already weird. Second of all, no, Josh hasn't passed away or become one with the Force. He just isn't going to be here for today's proceedings. So the next few videos,
No
or
vacation.
for the next few videos, or whenever I decide to release stuff, if you see the Josh Force ghost, he was not here. So today we are checking out a new album at the time of this recording, and it's from a band that we reacted to, I believe, at least two of their tracks. Guys, feel free to fact check me at any point in time. And they are the band Novelists. So what we're going to do is go into a quick history of the band, and then we will get started. So, Novelists is a progressive metalcore band from Paris, France, formed in 2013 by brothers Florestan and Amel Duran. They quickly gained attention with their technical yet melodic style, blending gent-inspired riffs, ambient textures, and emotionally driven lyrics. Their debut album, Souvenirs, in 2015 established them as a fresh force in the European metal scene, followed by the darker, more refined Noir in 2017. In 2020, longtime vocalist Matthew Romarin left the band and was replaced by Tobias Risch, with whom they released C'est La Vie and Deja Vu in 2020 and 2022, respectively, showcasing a shift towards more accessible and polished songwriting. Risch's departure in 2023 led to the arrival of Camille Contreras as the new vocalist, marking the beginning of a bold new era for the band as they continue to evolve their sound. That leads us to the release at the time of this recording. I believe this was last Friday. I don't have the date in front of me because I don't have a calendar in front of me. But it is CODA. And guys, what are your initial thoughts on CODA?
So, after reacting to a couple of their videos, I was pretty excited for this album to come out and for us to review it. I like their vibe. I like their sound. The songs were good. They weren't necessarily great, but I was excited to hear more from them. And I think our reactions will kind of mirror that across the board. The album's good, first of all. It's a very modern sounding album, I guess, for better or for worse. I don't have like the musical acumen or the vocabulary to express exactly what I'm talking about, but like the vocal melodies in particular are really well done. She's got a great voice. It's just like the actual like the specific tonal interval, if I'm saying what I'm thinking right, it shows up a lot in modern music, in these vocal melodies. And it's not necessarily my favorite type of vocal melodies, but it sounds really good. Camille is a really good vocalist. There, for my taste, I guess. Also, if I'm being nitpicky, there's a lot of vocal effects on her voice. I would have liked to maybe hear it a little cleaner, without as much vocal effects. But otherwise, really good vocals all throughout. Spoiler alert for my MVP later. And then another thing is I was expecting it maybe to be a little heavier, but there's a couple of tracks in particular where they really kind of what am I trying to say? The energy is much lower. Yeah, the energy is much lower, slow jam. And there's even a song on here that is very much just a straight up slow jam. Like there's not even any distorted guitars whatsoever. But it's still a pretty decent song. So yeah, overall, really enjoyed the album. My one, I guess, criticism or hot take is I wish it was a little better because I like the sound and I like the vibe. But it didn't quite hit the peaks that I was hoping. And, me and Jason talked about that a little bit. Nothing really kind of stood out. It was good. I just wish it was great.
I'll have Josh's notes go next because I do feel that Jason is going to also be slightly of a downer on this record, based on some things that he's told me previously. So just to kind of get closer back to an average here, Josh did send me some of his overall thoughts, and he says overall he really likes the record. While it doesn't do anything new necessarily, it does what it does very well. He loves the vocal melodies throughout the album. Camille adds so many layers to that. It feels poppy at times, but then it comes back around, crushes with some more tasty riffs and solos. And just since I'm already talking, I'll just kind of echo some of that. I do feel the same way. I know, Jonah, you alluded to, Camille's vocals being a little over processed. I don't mind that, and maybe that's just because we just came from an album from like 1995, and so going from an album that is 30 years old makes me feel bad, to an album just released. Obviously, there's a huge jump in production value, and I guess as of right now, it caught me at a good time. I welcomed that. I don't mind it being a little over processed. I don't necessarily agree that it's over processed, but it definitely is processed to a certain degree. And we didn't react to it or anything like that. You can check out, Camille did a few vocal covers, if you will,
Yes.
vocal versions of two of their singles on their YouTube page, like their official YouTube page. And so you could see her do like these one take versions of these songs with next to no, I'm sure there's a little bit here and there, but with much less vocal processing on it. And she 100% has the chops. And I did watch a few live videos as well, of the band since adding Camille into the mix, and she definitely seems to have provided, you know, she definitely stands out, I should say. I can't say that she provides a spark because I'm not familiar with the band prior to her involvement. But she is a draw. She's very charismatic. She's very good front woman. And I really enjoyed this. The guitar work is really, really impressive. All the backing band, if you will, they're not a backing band, they're a band, but you know what I mean. All the gentlemen playing the instruments play them incredibly well. The guitar work, bass work, drums, all that stuff, I think is really, really well done. Overall, I was fairly impressed with this record.
The music
Before we
side.
get too far from the points you made, I just wanted to clarify. I enjoyed the album. I think they did a really good job. The like you said, all the instrumentation was really good. It's just that for my sensibilities, I prefer a more traditional instrumentation rather than the from my perspective what I would consider overly processed or too many electronic elements maybe. It's not bad by any means. It's just for my personal taste.
Sure.
I like it a little bit more traditional. And again, going back to what I said about when we reacted initially, I was hoping for just a little bit more than what we got. But what we did get is solid and it is good. I just want to be clear about that. I'm being overly critical, maybe, but
Yeah, you were underselling it a bit, I think.
I think
Yeah,
so. Yes.
yeah. I'm kind of in line with both you and Dave. To Dave's point, vocals fantastic, musicianship fantastic. I like all of the work of the guitarist, the drumming, the whoever's in charge of whatever effects or background effects. I thought were very well done. Sometimes you get bands and they put too much in and it just starts to sound. You end up with chaos. But onto Jonah's point, I needed more time, but none of these tracks just jumped out as great songs. The album is very good, but for me personally, like even like I would say the most radio friendly songs on here, I'm not going to have them in my rotation. It's not that they're bad. It's just that for this album, for me, like if it's playing in the background, fine. If it were to come up randomly on a playlist when I'm just randomly playing from anything that I've heard, I wouldn't care. I don't consider any of the songs a skipper. The only problem that I have right now, and maybe it's because I haven't had enough time with the album since it's just been out 4 days now. None of these tracks, for me personally, screamed, "This is a great song." They were all very good songs, and so I feel like you got a good experience. But this isn't going to make me like go check out more.
I think I don't think every album. This is going to sound like a diss, but I don't think every album needs to be great. I don't think that you know. And I'm not saying that you're saying that, Jason, but I'm just just kind of adding on to that. Sometimes albums can be just good, and that's totally fine.
Yeah, I would guess that it's every artist's dream to have every song great and every album, quadruple platinum.
Sure,
That's just not. It's just not reality.
Yeah.
For their experience, and look, even for our experience, whenever we did stuff, you enjoy your stuff. So as long as they're not going, as long as they're not back in the background going, God, I hate this. Why are we doing it? I'm sure that every artist has a couple of those in their back pocket that they don't want to do. But look, this is a very good album. It's just unfortunate that either we didn't have enough time to find the greatness, or it's just a really good album, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
And I will say this is the first full album that we've listened to from this band, and I was impressed. As far as my first exposure to this band, I'm definitely impressed. This is a band that I will be following, and because is this her first album with the band?
Yeah, she did an EP,
Camille,
I think.
Camille's. Okay.
But this is the first full length.
Yeah, so if this is the first full length album with Camille, there's a good chance that the next one will be even better. So I'll be looking forward to that for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
This is definitely in mine and I don't want to speak for you, Jonah, but I think this type of metalcore is definitely more in line with Josh and my musical taste. Like, I know this band wasn't around when I was in high school because I'm ancient now, but this would be the type of band, were I in high school, like, I would have highly anticipated this release. Like, I mean, I already did anticipate it because we reacted to them and everything. But like, this would have been one of those like, oh man, I'd have drove down. I'm gonna show my age here. I would have drove down to Best Buy and I'd have snapped this album up like the day of release, right? Fortunately, I don't need to do that anymore because I can just stream it immediately. But moving on here, let's get into MVPs. And I have a sneaking suspicion of who's probably going to take this, but maybe I'll be proven wrong. We'll go with Josh's first since he's not here. He has a tie between Camille and Florence Stan, which is one of the guitar players, one of the founding members of the band. I believe they're brothers
/ primary.
I believe they're brothers. They have the same last name. I don't know that I mentioned that in the they are brothers. I believe
so, yeah.
They are brothers. Okay, sorry about that. Yep. So Camille and Florence stand for Josh. Jonah, what do you got?
I alluded to it earlier, but it's Camille for me. I really like her vocals. I think she's got a great voice. And again, since this is her first full-length album with the band, definitely looking forward to what else they can bring in the future. And I bet, and based on the videos, the kind of unplugged versions of those songs, this band probably goes so super hard live. So I would love to see this band live for sure.
Oh, I would. This type of music actually, I think, lends itself more to a live setting anyway. Sure. Just kind of being there and experiencing it. But Jason, what you got?
I do give kudos to Camille. I think she has a fantastic voice, but the one thing I kept hearing over and over as being unique in some of the decision making done with the riff work is Florence Stan Duran's. I thought there were interesting choices that you normally don't hear or get in kind of play styles, rhythm styles, different things that he was doing with the guitar that I was like, oh, that sounds pretty cool. And I just kept finding that being the big draw from song to song.
Yeah, I think I will give Josh credit here. And since he's not here to make fun of me, I'll give him free credit. I was leaning towards strictly going with Camille. But I will cheat our own system a little bit, and I will give split credits to Camille and Florence Stan. I do believe, the guitar work is a pretty unique aspect to it, because there are some progressive elements in a lot of the riff work and the solo work. I do wish there was a few more guitar solos in these songs, or more, some more dedicated, like, I get it. A lot of these songs they're quote unquote built for radio. Like these are like 4-minute tracks or sub 4-minute tracks. Like these aren't going to be long drawn out sessions. But like we did hear some really good guitar solos in some of these songs, and I don't know that every song had that. So I kind of wish that every song kind of had some moment, because the guitar playing is clearly like the Florence and company are very, very talented. Like,
yes,
obviously it would not have been a 39-minute record, but you could have pushed this to like a 50-minute record and added about a minute per song, and had
just
some
got
more,
crazy.
well, just had some more extended. If you'd had the average song be like 5 minutes instead of 4, you could have had more extended bridge sections, some extended guitar solo work.
I do feel
that's just my personal bias coming in, though.
And I don't disagree, because I will say that the one thing in this album is I do feel like the bridge work, especially a lot of the guitar work leading up to the solo, is what I thought were some of the best parts of the different songs.
yeah, for sure.
All right, guys. So moving on to album title and art for your scores. Again, I'll go with.
I'm gonna come in.
Oh, I was gonna go. I was gonna go with Josh. I'll usually go with Josh first because he's not here, so we don't have to
get
discuss
him out of the way. Basically,
yeah, exactly. Look at it. Look at him. Look at him smirking over there.
This guy.
Oh, Force Ghost. Anyway, album title. Josh has a 6, which whatever. He has art here at a 3. We can come back to that depending on what you guys score it. Jonah, you seem like you had something to say there. We'll go ahead and
yeah. So Josh is basically right on the money. I gave the album title a 6 as well. It's whatever. I like the word. The meaning doesn't necessarily, from what I can tell, maybe I'll get it later.
It's a musical passage thing.
Yeah, no, I mean, it has to do, I know what it means. I just don't know how it necessarily ties into the album itself, but that's whatever. 6, it's fine. It's perfectly fine. But the art, I gave it a 4 also. It's basically just a smudge. Maybe I just don't get it. Maybe there's a deeper meaning here that I can't see, but I don't see it, so it gets a 4.
Yeah, go ahead, Jason.
Hey, look, man. 2 people that have gone before me are so smart. I gave the title a 6. It's an art term for ending or finale or the end or whatever. It's whatever. But the word, I like the word.
Yeah.
Album art, it is a blue canvas with a white brushstroke. I gave it a 1.5.
Oof.
I think it is supposed to represent some form of new beginning type situation, like the end of an era to the start of a new one type of deal.
Sure. Sure.
So I did I gave the album title a 6 as well. I gave the album art a 5 because I think I understand what they were trying to do, or at least I have based on my interpretation of what they were going for. Like, I get it. It's the first. It's how I understand it. It's the first paint on a canvas, right? It's the fresh start. But
the first stroke.
But the first few strokes, right?
While naming it the end.
Well, yeah, the end of an era going into the beginning. Like I think. Because they have a new singer and their sound is progressing.
Sure.
Like
I think it was overthought. How's that?
Here's the problem. I think you're a little bit off. I don't think they went far enough with it. I think it's too minimalist.
I should have been just a white canvas.
But if their goal, if I'm correct in my interpretation. Because, I mean, it's art, so it can be interpreted in a million different other ways. But if I'm correct in my interpretation, then I like it more. because otherwise I'm not really sure what it is.
Right.
But for that reason, because I was able to extrapolate something out of it, I'll just give it a 5. Like I don't love it or hate it. It's there.
I mean, it's just
It's
the
very,
least
it's
metal
very, it's.
cover I've seen.
I mean, they're French. You know what I mean?
Oh, well, there you go. That explains the whole thing.
That explains it.
No, it's very artsy and
Yes.
you know, I appreciate
Us
that.
Americans.
I mean, we are really dumb.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
guys.
fair.
So top tracks. Josh gets to go first again. Thanks, Josh, for letting for going first every time.
Feeling the stage. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, we appreciate you. Josh has an honorable mention. He has the track. Excuse me, the track CRC. I don't recall if that stands for anything. Feel free to help me out. Number 3, he has All for Nothing, which was one of the singles, I believe. And we'll get into that. I actually have a thought on this. Number 2, he has Adam and Eve. And his number 1 track is Say My Name. Although he does note here that it should not open the record. And if you guys will allow me, I wanted to bring this up real quick. I don't think the 3 singles should have opened the record. I don't know whether that was on purpose. I don't know. I mean, obviously it's on purpose. They built whoever built the track listing built it like purposefully. They didn't just hit shuffle and say, "Here's your track listing."
Yes.
So, like, I don't like that. I don't like when an album opens with, because like if I'm a hardcore fan of the band, right? I'm probably.
I want him to hit me in the mouth first.
Well, not only that, I agree with you, but not only that, but like, I don't want to know the first 3 songs on the album right away. Like I don't want to hit play on a record and
just get everything you've already heard
and have to skip 3 songs. Basically, because I you know, peeling back the curtain, I know Josh isn't here, but I have a feeling he would have said this. Is when he started the record, he actually did just start at the 4th track because he had already played out the other 3 songs. Josh enjoyed the record. Just spoil that for y'all because I know his score. But he had to basically start on the 4th track. Machine Head did this not with their previous album, well, not with the album they just released, but their previous one to that, of Kingdom and Crown. Like 6 of those, or like half that record, had been released already. And I guess where I'm going with this is like let's move those tracks around on the playlist a little bit. If you know that those are going to be the singles, why are we putting them all at the front? This isn't the 90s and early 2000s where streaming doesn't exist. Like, you don't need to sell people on the record. Like, because we talked about that in our previous review, or one of our previous reviews, where like back in the day, you wanted the songs people knew to be at the top so that, you know, that
the A side,
right?
Yeah.
But
when
that
they
doesn't
watch your album, they could just hit play.
Yeah, that doesn't exist anymore with the advent of streaming services. So like, I don't know. I did have a little bit of a problem with the track listing, and I do agree with Josh. I think "Say My Name," while it is, spoiler, also in my top 3, is
it too? It's too safe of a song.
It is
to open up the record.
Yeah, it should not have been the opening track for a metalcore album. That's just my 2 cents. Jonah, go ahead with your top tracks.
Yeah, so top tracks. I have KO as an honorable mention. The closing track, I really like that song. Vocals are great, obviously. It's got kind of a haunting vibe to it. I really like that. My number 3 is going to be CRC. That song is heavy, sounds really good. Number 2, I have a song that I initially kind of disregarded quickly because of what it was, but In Heaven, super moody, super vibey, beautiful vocals on that song.
Yeah.
You know, it's one like of the softer.
It's almost like a softer ballad, but
yes,
not as soft as a ballad.
Exactly. It was a good balance. It on the second listen through, it jumped out at me. That was one of my favorites. And then of course my number 1, it's going to be Adam and Eve. The chorus is so good on that song. It almost has like an Evanescence vibe with her vocals, like the vocal melody and whatnot. And I like the outro to that song a lot too. Great song. That's my number 1.
That's one of the songs I have. It has this great like undertone. It has this great ascending riff leading into the solo.
Yes,
Fantastic.
yes.
Jason, go with your top tracks.
Top tracks. I do have honorable mention. CRC. You're a smart man. So is Josh when he's not ghosting us. I number 3, CODA title track. I love the sound effects over the guitar work. Number 2, even though we were just kind of saying it shouldn't be the leading track, Say My Name. And number 1, damn, Jonah, you're smart again. In Heaven.
I'll go. Excuse me. My honorable mention is CODA. I think it's a great song. Technically, it could also be All for Nothing. I think both singles are really good, but I'll go with CODA. My number 3 is, and I'm disappointed that nobody has it, Maldición de la Bruja. I love that song. Jonah, I tried with the pronunciation, bro. I did my best.
That's pretty good.
Okay. I really like that song. I love the dips in and out of the different languages.
Yes.
And I just love the vibe of that song. It's almost a new metal. It's almost a new metal track.
Yes,
it's like club metal.
I love it. Very catchy. And then Adam and Eve is my number 2. That's not surprisingly that a lot of us had that on our lists. And number 1, it is what it is. It is Say My Name. I really do like that song. It is super catchy. But I agree with Josh. It should not have been the opening track. They should have gone with like an Adam and Eve or something else, like a really, really heavy track. But I mean, at the end of the day, like, who cares, right? But that's just it's just like my opinion, man. So one of the things we like to do is we all understand, everyone understands. Josh, you understand? I'll take your silence as a yes. That the best metal tracks, the best metal albums or rock albums ever made are 8 songs. Not 7, not 9, but 8. And so what we like to do for funsies is cut all the albums that we review down to their quintessential 8 tracks in order to have that kind of perfect album, if you will. Josh, would you like to go first?
Yeah.
All right. So, Josh, you're going to go first. Josh is going to cut Sleepless Nights, and I didn't see this until now. I want to vomit. Josh is also going to cut Maldición de la Bruja, and Josh...
I'm not surprised by that. I'm not surprised by that at all.
Josh, you're a moron. If you watch this back, you're a moron.
Josh, you're so smart, Josh.
Anyway, God, I'm upset. Somebody go first. Jonah, you want to go?
I'll go next, sure. So, for all of the reasons that you guys said, Say My Name should not have opened the album. Basically, I thought it could be cut if when I did all my numbers and everything, that ended up as second from the bottom. It's a good song. The vocals are good. It's got a catchy, like, hooky chorus. It's got a good solo and bridge. But it just, because I score my songs individually, that one ended up being near the bottom for me. But it is a good song. Not great, but good. And then my worst scored song, the one that I just did not vibe with at all, it's going to be 78 Rue, I'm assuming is how you call it.
Yeah. Slow jam.
It's too slow for me, and it has those elements that I'm critical of with the rest of the album, but only those elements. So it was not one that I particularly enjoyed. Not a bad song, but definitely the worst song on the album for me.
Jason, where are you at?
Well, I'm gonna agree with Josh on the Maldición de la Bruja. Not that it's I don't mind the mixing of the languages. I thought it was really well done, but it's a little too like club metal for me.
It's a little frantic.
Yeah, and then I'm going to agree with Jonah. The worst song on the album. Now again, not the worst song I've ever heard, and it's not really a skipper, but 78 Rue.
Yeah.
Lowest score for me.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'll say it here. I haven't really exactly said it yet. I mean, this is a 10-song, 39-minute breeze. Like this
Yes.
was like
Yes.
this was like, it's been a little while since I've listened to an album like that's been this
It
quick.
wasn't
Like,
2 hours long.
yeah, because that's how I do. So no, I mean, like, I pressed play on this thing. Like, I didn't even try to listen to this thing 5 times. I ended up listening to it like 6 or 7 times just because,
It's just
like,
so short.
I would just throw it on, and by the time before I really knew it, the record was over.
Yeah, I had the same issue. You hit play and then you're like, wait, is this a different band? And you look down and it's already finished.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Now I did bring up the track listing as an issue, and this is right. I think the back half of this album, the B side, if you will, of this album is the weaker of the two. And I do think it unlike you gentlemen, I believe it hits back to back. I do agree with 78 Rue. And then I also hit Sleepless Nights. Neither of the songs are bad. I wouldn't skip them.
So I'm right there with you. That's the third song. If there was a third cut, it would be Sleepless Nights.
Actually, yes, that's my third from the bottom as well.
But those two, like, back to back, like, especially coming out of Adam and Eve, which is a high note for me.
Mm-hmm.
The record dips in quality, or in enjoyment, I should say. Quality is subjective or whatever.
Sure.
Or objective, I should say. I actually said it right the first time. Anyway, Sleepless Nights, 78 Rue. It just kind of, it does hurt the score of the album a little bit for me. Speaking of score, we like to score our albums. Most people, when they score an album, 7 is usually an average. Well, for us, it's a 5. And so
that's the middle.
Yeah. So anything above a 5 is some degree that we would recommend it. Anything under a 5 is some degree that we would not recommend it. So, Josh, you're gonna go first. And this is what Josh kind of has to say about his score. He says this is his score for now. He's going to continue to listen to this album, and given more time, he expects his score will improve. Normally when that happens, usually it's right at the edge of a threshold of a score, and this is no exception. Josh is at a 7.9, which I think for an album that at the time of this recording, we've only had 6 days, less than 6 full days, like maybe 5 full days on it.
Only a couple for me, technically.
Yeah. I think 7.9 is very high and a very, very good score. Again, anything above a 5 is some degree that we would recommend it. So, Jonah, where are you? Actually, I want to do something that Josh does. He tries to pick the lowest score. I'm going to say it's Jason. I think Jason's
definitely lowest. Jason's definitely lowest.
So I'll say this. I enjoyed this album, so I don't want anybody to think that we're just poo-pooing it here. I do somewhat agree with Josh. I do think that if I had more time with this, the score would go up. I do not have any of these songs as atrocious. To me, it is a solid listen, start to finish. So I gave it a 6.6.
That's actually higher than what I had. I had 6.3 in my head for you.
Okay.
And so yeah, you came up a little above that.
Hey, and I'll tell you what. I'll tell you before we get to Jonah. I'll tell you what. If they had done what you said and made every song 5 minutes, it probably would have gotten lower.
That's just a difference in musical style and taste or whatever.
I'm just jabbing at you.
Yeah, it's fine. Jonah, where are you at?
So, despite my criticism, I think I gave it a pretty decent score. And I wanted to reiterate what I said up top. I wanted more because I love the sound, I love the vibe, I love the vocals. There are elements here that I really, really love. The concept of it just didn't quite reach those heights that I was hoping for. And obviously that's a me problem. That's not a them problem. So all said and done, when I did the math, I ended up at a 7.1.
Okay. That is very good score for Jonah. I know a lot of these scores people are going to be like, "Oh God, they didn't like the album." It's like that's
Yeah,
not
no,
true at
it's
all.
not the
Yeah,
case at all.
if we didn't like it, it would be at a 5
Yeah,
Yeah,
or
could
lower.
show you some scores that of albums we didn't like
yeah,
universally.
Yeah,
Anyway,
Venom.
I'm kind of right there with Josh. Josh did end up being the highest score. I'm in between Josh and Jonah on this record, um, and I think it's just it's some of the issues that I had with it where. Um, I think this record sets out to bridge the gap between or capture a very wide audience. And there's nothing wrong with that. Um, uh, because it's appeasing like the metalcore crowd. There's a little taste of some progressive in there, some gent influenced metal in there. There is some poppiness. There's some electronica. I think the
yeah,
problem when you don't, and I'm not saying they're not committing. The problem when you spread the love, if you will, between a lot of different styles and kind of like things that try to that you're attributing to your band, you're not going all in on any one particular thing. So you're kind of like not. It's what I sort of alluded to before. Like it's I don't know that an album is ever going to be truly great to anybody when you're spreading yourself out so thin like this. I should say I think it's harder to be great. Because like for me, it's missing some of the progressive elements that I think would have put this record over the top for me, but that would have made the record less enjoyable for Jason. And vice versa, right? If this record would have done less of the like slightly progressive or more aggressive vocals that Jason isn't as necessarily of a fan of, that would have made the record better for him but worse for me, right? So
That's why our scores vary, and that's why
yeah.
that's why we get an average.
I think this for a band to be balancing so many spinning plates and really like only a couple of them fall. I think they're doing a really good job. That being said, I'm at a 7.5.
Okay.
Um,
And the one thing on this is that it's this singer's first album, and so you have this learning curve. Everybody's kind of acclimated to what the new member brings to the table, and to what Jonah said in the beginning. Like I'm curious what the next album brings.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Like I think this band, as long as they continue to put out music like this, they're absolutely going to be a band we react to anytime they come out with new material. Like hands down, they're on my radar for sure. So that gives our average. Excuse me, I got some bad indigestion. That gives our average. I'm professional. 7.28, which for us, is what we consider is good, worth listening to. And I'll just read what we have for a 7. A 7 is solid, enjoyable, and well made. The album has strong tracks and likely showcases creativity or skill. Though it may have some filler or uneven spots, it's definitely worth listening to for fans of the artist or genre. I feel like I've read that a lot lately. It is what it is. That's just kind of how we're going to give out a lot of 7s because there's 4 of us. And, if something's good, it's probably going to be a 7. So, but I do think that describes this album pretty well.
Oh yeah.
It is, it's got some songs that maybe not are for everybody, but overall I think it's very good. And, yeah, if you think this video is very good, why don't you give us a like, give us a subscribe. We're putting out weekly metal content right now. We got metal reactions, metal reviews, metal time machines, metal brackets, and all kinds of other cool stuff. And in the meantime, live long and prosper. Take it easy, everybody.
Later.
Peace.